Hey friends, before we dive in, just a quick reminder, if you're getting value out of the Hacking Fat Man podcast and journey, don't forget to follow along on all the channels. We're posting daily tips and updates, behind the scenes content on Facebook and Instagram. Just search at Hacking the Fat Man. And a full podcast episode, transformation deep dives, hit up the YouTube channel, also at Hacking the Fat Man. And please hit that subscribe button. All right, let's get hacking. Hello, and welcome to the fourth episode of Hacking the Fat Man. How was your week? Mine was fairly interesting, and before I get into that, I want to apologize for not releasing this episode last week. Ran into a couple of issues that I guess I needed to address, and we'll get into that here shortly. But yeah, just my apologies for that. If you followed me on Facebook, the Facebook page, Hacking the Fat Man, I did release that I had emergency gallbladder surgery last Sunday, a week from yesterday, whatever, last week, and we'll get into how that happened and what it means going forward here. That's what this episode of Hacking the Fat Man is going to be. So yeah, last you probably heard of me if you were following. I have been releasing daily quick little video diaries, mostly for myself. I was starting to wonder whether I was miscounting calories, and so I wanted to kind of capture what I'm eating, how I'm calculating. And so that was, my last one was last Saturday, not yesterday, but the day before, or the week before. And I had gone to Home Depot. I'd been working on this project in the backyard. I'm trying to set up a storage tent, and had moved 600 pounds of mulch from Home Depot to my car to Lagartha, and to the house, to the yard, to being laid all out. As I approached the end of Saturday evening, I was not feeling good. And I hadn't been feeling good for a couple of days, and there were a couple of warning signs that were leading me up to that. The first thing is, and I wanted to talk about it, I was a bit surprised when I weighed myself in episode 1 and that I hadn't lost any weight that week. And I'm not surprised often, but I was a bit surprised. And then to continually not only not lose weight, but I was starting to gain, it was a pound here, a pound there, not really a big deal. But yeah, that was interesting, because I was going back through and I was watching the video diet. There was no way I was miscounting my calories, or at least not by adding weight to it, to my body. And it gets me to point one, and actually this was going to be a topic for last week, was weighing yourself. And how often do you weigh yourself? So up until the podcast, I started a podcast, I had stopped kind of weighing myself, in the sense of I would only weigh myself to get as a marker to see where I was. And that might have been once every 3 months. If I felt that my clothes were getting tight, I may weigh myself just to kind of, hey, let's make sure that we're eating what we think we're eating. But I wasn't having any of that. The clothes still felt great. The scale wasn't going off. The other unusual thing about the scale measurements is usually when I hit a plateau, it will be 50-50 muscle to fat gain loss. In general, your body, if you lose weight, it's 50-50 muscle to fat. If you gain weight, it's 50-50 muscle to fat, depending on what you're doing. And I was not exercising enough to be gaining strictly muscle. So when I was getting on the scale, all the weight that I was adding, not only all the weight, but my fat was going down, percentage was going down, even though the weight may be about the same, a little bit higher, but it was pure muscle, according to the scale. And I am not working out that much to be gaining that much muscle. So here's a tidbit when you weigh yourself. Your weight at any point in time is plus or minus 10 pounds. And what I mean by that is there's your weight, and then there are other things that go into your body that add to your weight that you can quickly adjust. Water immediately comes to mind. Are you retaining water? Do you have more water, or are you more hydrated than you were the last time you weighed yourself? Easily 5 pounds difference in water. Want to lose a couple pounds, go sweat. You'll drop it right off. You haven't really lost anything. You've lost the water retention, but you yourself, your weight, your fat, where we're trying to go, it's not really doing things. And so when you see those stupid diet, you'll see advertising, want to lose 15 pounds in 2 weeks, we can do it. Yeah, that's just a laxative and a diuretic. That's all those are. If you ever had the flu and have lost 10 pounds, 15 pounds, you did not lose 10 or 15 pounds. What you lost was the water weight out of your body from the flu. And that's why we have to drink a lot of fluids when we have the flu. And you've cleared your GI tract. And inside your GI tract, I'm talking your small intestines, I'm talking about food that's gone into your stomach and about to head out where it's supposed to go. That can easily be another 10 pounds. And by clearing, or at least 5 pounds, another 5-6 pounds. So between your water weight and what's in your GI tract, 10 plus or minus 10 pounds either direction when you're weighing yourself. I had noticed that it was all entirely muscle. And the funny thing about the GI tract and what's in the GI tract is, how does an electrical signal differentiate between food being processed in your intestines and muscle or just body organs to begin with? It doesn't. And so I was starting to suspect that what was coming in wasn't equaling what was going out, and that when I went to the hospital, I expected to have a intestinal blockage. Part of the and you can tell I'm a little slow today. Sorry, my apologies for that. Part of the risk or for Zepbound is that it can lead to constipation. It can lead to severe constipation. And I've been struggling with severe constipation for the last couple of years. And it now turns out that it may not have just been the Zepbound. So anyway, I get done Saturday. I get moving things around. I'm not feeling that good, and nothing is moving. I feel like I need to either burp or do the other thing, and neither one of those things are happening. And it just kept getting worse and worse until the point where I woke up Sunday morning and I was starting to throw up. And that's a major warning sign there. Anytime you throw up. I don't do it often anymore. I've told you I was bulimic, anorexic, but also bulimic. I tend to stay away from that as far as I can. And so when I'm throwing up, it usually is very bad. So went to the hospital, the great hospital up in Simi Valley, Adventist Health. The reason I went there was they had performed my hernia surgery. So I knew they knew everything about this area. They had this CT scans from before the operation. And I got lucky that my surgeon that performed the surgery was actually on call that day as well. So she ended up performing, thank you, Dr. Polyakin, performing the gallbladder removal. Walked in, they did their CT scan, they then looked at an ultrasound, made sure I had an EKG, that it wasn't heart. We all kind of knew it wasn't the heart. And it turned out that I had a severe infection of the gallbladder, and I had multiple very large gallstones, 2 to 3 inches, maybe even more. This side of my body is hurting because she kept having to cut the incision bigger just to get the stuff out of me. So yeah, that was my week. Got in Sunday, spent the night, Sunday night, got out Monday, and then the last couple of days have just been me being miserable. I haven't done anything. For the most part, I've stuck to my diet only because I just did not feel like eating. So it was a lot of yoga, a lot of things, light food that went into my body. But yeah, it was an interesting experience, and I'm glad it's over. Again, I rate those things as still paying the price for my last 57 years. And hopefully this is some of the final, or at least the bigger payments that I have to do, and everything else goes lighter and easier here. But it is opening up, I'm going to admit, yesterday I kind of had a panic attack. Not yesterday, maybe the day before. And the reason for the panic attack was I'd been kind of set in my food schedule. What I can and can't eat, and when I should, or what my body was saying when it was telling me one thing and why I wanted to eat a certain thing. And that's now all kind of opened up a little bit, mostly because I've learned way more about the gallbladder and what bile does in the body. And what I suspect, again, according to my doctor, is my gallstones were so big that bile was not coming out of my body. Or very, very little was actually getting into the small intestine. And so, if you don't know this, they remove the gallbladder. The bile is actually produced by the liver and produces the majority of it as you eat fat. It would send it to the gallbladder that would then use it as a reservoir to put it into the small intestine. So without the gallbladder, you really don't need it. They just take the liver and they connect it up into the intestines. I don't know whether it's smaller. I should be saying these things. But they hook it up into the intestine, and then the liver just is sending a constant source of bile into your digestive tract. One of the downsides of not having a gallbladder is that if I did eat a large amount of fat, there's a good chance that it will just come out directly and not be processed necessarily by the body, which can lead to bloating, gas, loose stools, those type of, which all sound like heaven to me right now after 3 years of severe constipation. I'll take that any day of the week. And so I'm now having to adjust it. And I realized that, I don't know if any of you were surprised. About 2 weeks ago, it was a fast day, and I went for 4 brats. And I went for the 4 brats because that's what my body was telling me I needed. And I knew that eating fatty foods helped the constipation. Now I think I understand a little bit better why it was helping the constipation. Basically, if I have no bile going in and I send a lot of fat down there, it's doing exactly what I just described as one of the side effects of losing your gallbladder, is that the fat may be not processed. It can go through, and you could have loose stools, and that's exactly what my body was using it for, was to help process things through. Hey, you, Drew, go eat some brats because you need to, pun fully intended, I don't know, grease the wheels, but that's what I was doing. But it means now that I have to rethink a little bit. I don't think it's a major rewrite of anything, of how I approach fat and non-fat food. I've made it clear, multiple times. My wife's heard me say it over the years. I hate non-fat food. And the reason why I know why I hate non-fat food. Non-fat food was the first thing forced upon me by my parents when I started gaining weight as a kid. It was about 2nd grade, 3rd grade. So non-fat cottage cheese and non-fat, no, I do not like that. I much rather have one piece of awesome sharp cheddar, legitimate sharp cheddar, than to have non-fat American's cheese. I just won't. No, thank you. I want the good stuff. So learning how to incorporate that into it, what it means, what some of the feelings mean now, because things are changing. I can't go just on pure instinct right now. Sorry, wife's texting me. Thanks, wife. Anyway, I got it. I don't even know where I was. Oh yeah, now I do. So understanding what the feelings are and going on instinct of where I am, it's going to take me a little bit to get there. And there's a couple things coming up. It's summer, right? It's tomorrow's July 1st, and we've got July 4th weekend coming up. I'm going to talk a little bit about how to approach the July 4th weekend, how to enjoy it, and yet still get through and stay on your diet. So we'll get to that in a little bit later. And a couple days after that, I leave for Portugal and Spain for a 2-week vacation. I'll be recording still while I'm there, documenting everything, and learning to see how I can go and travel. I'm going to be fine because that diet is that Mediterranean, the ceviche, the everything else that you get over there, absolutely fantastic, and I love it. So I know I'm going to do well. It'll be interesting to record it, 2.5 weeks, and there'll be alcohol added to it, which will also make things interesting. What else? Excuse me. Go ahead and pause for a second. So yeah, I got home Monday night, and I started recovering, and I mentioned I had a panic attack a couple of days ago, and I did, thinking, oh, my diet's got to change drastically, everything I know I'm going to throw out. I calmed myself down and just thought myself through this, right? So the 95% of my diet is actually a good gallbladder, having your gallbladder removed diet. While I still partake of fried foods and fatty foods, mostly from the keto side of it, I don't live on it. It's not a everyday thing. It may not even be an every week thing, though it's pretty close to at least once a week. I'm guaranteed to have a brat or have the fried fish tacos I had, right? And from what I'm gathering is that's okay. I'll have to learn what the real balances are there, and what it does to my body when I take those things. But that's an exercise that, you know, is easy to deal with. The other thing of note there is, you notice towards the end of the week I started having panic attacks. I started doubting myself. I have not taken any supplement since over a week now. And I do think that my supplements, you know, I've shared things about why, just last week, about vitamin C and depression. Though I am still got my handy dandy lemon water. That's the one thing that, again, when I say this thing's with me all the time, it's with me all the time. This doesn't go away. So, excuse me, I got a drink now. But my other supplements, my beets, the tart cherry, the cinnamon, the turmeric, haven't taken a single one. I'll start again tonight. I think my stomach is feeling pretty good now, that I can do that. But it you know, it just kind of drives home the point that while I started taking the supplements for the anti-inflammation and those type of things, that the supplements are giving me other benefits, especially around the antidepressants type of stuff. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting started back on those. I'm looking forward to getting moving a little bit more and putting up that stupid tent. But this also let me, and I was going to do this last week anyway, if I did have to start over, what would that look like? And this is also the question I've been struggling with here with all of you is, I know I keep kind of trying to explain myself and what I'm doing and why this is different. I don't feel like I've explained it right. I feel like there's more. And that's actually the whole main reason for the podcast, is just to help me with my message and help me get this out clear. And it comes from two sides. One, myself. How, you know, if I listened to the first 3 episodes of this podcast, how would have I approached adopting it? And the other one is and I really appreciate the comments, and I really appreciate people reaching out to me. I've gotten a few which are, yeah, I want to lose 100 pounds. Great. I support you on wanting to lose 100 pounds, but you're asking the wrong question. You don't want to just lose 100 pounds. You can snap your fingers and you've lost 100 pounds. What you want is a lifestyle that enables you to be 100 pounds lighter and yet still do all the activities and eat the things that you want to and have joy in your life. That's what you're building. You're not building 100 pounds. You're not just losing 100 pounds. Because then what? I am building a lifestyle that's going to support me, whether it's a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, in my retirement, that I can be the weight I want to be, do the activities I want to do, and do it all without having to really think about it. It just becomes as easy as breathing. I'm not kidding when I say it needs to be as easy as breathing. And that's what I'm trying to build. So again, applaud you that you want to lose 100 pounds or 20 pounds or 60 pounds, whatever it is. And I'm here to support you and kind of hopefully give you some tools that will help you in that. But reframe the question. You want a lifestyle that enables you to be the goal weight that you want, feel how you want, eat what you want, and it's as easy as breathing. And so we need to start there. And this was part of what I did 2 days ago. Was I went, okay, Drew, if you are starting over, what are you starting over with? And I realized that I've kind of laid this out because it was part of my thought process as I was laying it out, is going back to that lifestyle. 100 pounds lighter, how many calories does that take daily for you to be that weight? And this is something that is unique for every individual. You'll hear people say 2,000 calories a day. Well, that is, from my understanding, an average 175-pound man. I know that my body is nowhere near that, even though at 233, according to Apple right now, at 233, I should use 2,800 calories just to exist. Not even just get up and start moving. Just existing, I should use 2,800 calories a day. If you watch my video diaries, I am constantly under 1,700 calories, 1,500 calories. It takes 3,500 calories, again, on average, for you to either lose a pound of weight or gain a pound of muscle. So what's the disconnect? The disconnect is My body is not spending 2,800 calories existing at 230. So the first question, if you're starting and you want to build this lifestyle, is to understand exactly what, it's not how many calories that you need to be at 170 right now. How many calories can you eat a day consistently and just stay there? What's that number, right? What are you eating right now? Are you eating 2,500 calories, 3,000 calories? How often are you eating it? You eating it all in the evening? You eating it all throughout the day? You eating 5,000 calories all throughout the day? You need to figure that out. I knew that I was not really going above 2,000 calories at any point in time, maybe 2,500. At the peak of it, when I was 550, yeah, I was easily doing 3,500 to 4,000 calories. But I knew that I could live on 2,000 calories and not really blink an eye. So that's the first thing: is make that determination for yourself and decide what that level is going to be. That you can do this day in and day out, Monday through Sunday. Just how many calories? Then take those calories and shift them. Right. So if you're on average eating 3,500 calories or 2,000 calories, you go, you know what, I'm going to set the number at 2,500 calories. Perfect. 2,500 calories. When you eat them also matters. Research is starting to indicate this, that when you eat, your calories matter. So if you eat 2,500 calories at 9 o'clock at night, just before you go to bed, the majority of those calories are going to turn into fat because your body's not doing anything. If you took those 2,500 calories and had them all for breakfast, and then ran a marathon, you're going to be lean and tight and fit, and it'll turn into muscle because now you're moving around. So I wouldn't recommend 2,500, but this is what you've got to decide: is what is that number? What's that initial number that you're going to do, and then try to get it down lower. 1,800 is the perfect number for me. In fact, in all honesty, it's not 1,800. It's probably more about 1,500 right now, on average for the 7 days. And I'm perfectly happy eating. I'm perfectly happy eating only once a day if that's what my body's calling for. But that's me. I've made that determination. You've got to make it yourself. So what's the number? And then when are you going to eat it? Having the majority of your calories, one, you need to have breakfast. You know I hate breakfast. I've said it many times. So I've got some workarounds that technically I'm getting calories in, and technically the fast was broken, but it's not traditional breakfast. And I tend to eat the majority of my calories between 10 a.m. and somewhere around 2 or 3 p.m. With very rarely will I have additional calories after 5 p.m. And 9 times out of 10, I won't have anything after 5 p.m. unless something's going on that my body is saying I need to have something. So that's how my recommendation, if you are interested in starting, even coming to grips with this, is start there. What's the number of calories that you can eat? When do you eat them, and when what works for you? Right? Does it, if you're working night shifts, obviously everything I just said, you got to flip it around. But this is part of getting to know your body and getting your lifestyle and getting to understand it. The beginning of you hacking your body. Sorry about that. So it's the beginning of you hacking your body, and that's the first step. Is understanding the calories that you want. Pick a number, 2,000, 2,500, something. Stick with it daily. Shift all your calories early. I haven't even told you to change what you're eating yet. Just doing those things. Limit your calories to a certain level. I won't go above that. I'm going to eat them all earlier in the day. You'll start to see that your body will start changing. You'll start gaining muscle. You'll start feeling better. And that can then start snowballing and leading into, okay, now let's look at what you're eating, right? If you're eating the fried foods, or you're eating the refined carbs. Refined carbs are the worst things on the planet. And what I'm talking there is that a lot of health foods come in refined carbs. A lot of the fruit bars or the snacks, and here's this little strawberry Kellogg's bar and it's 200 calories. Well, yeah, I could have that, or I could have a can of soup. I'm gonna go have the can of soup. Personally, I'm gonna go have the can of soup because I'll feel way better. I'll feel fuller. I feel like I actually had a meal, and versus just that bar. This does not have to be torture. You do not need to torture yourself. You can do the same thing and feel good about what you're eating and what you're consuming and what it's doing to your body. And that's where I'm really trying to push you into thinking about your diet and all that. So I'll spend the next week. I won't be doing the daily videos. I'll probably start those up again Wednesday, Thursday next week. I'm still recovering. Sitting here right now, this half hour or so is still hurting me a bit. And so I'm going to take it a little bit easy. I'm going to recover. I'm going to let my body recover. I'm going to see what it can tolerate because it's kind of going to be new. Yogurt and cottage cheese has been done really well for me the last couple of days, along with soup. I still have a lot of soup. And we'll go from there. So yeah, next weekend, July 4th. Let's talk about July 4th and how to approach it. Any family function, right? So one thing that's always bothered me was the dietitians, I don't even know who says this, muscle, or maybe it's the muscle bodybuilders, that you can't gain muscle and lose weight at the same time. It's never made sense to me. And at some point I will be able to talk to a doctor or someone who actually kind of knows this area way better than I do and get an answer, because it's been my experience that you can gain muscle and lose weight at almost the same time. It really is just on average. So again, going back to 3,500 calories. It takes 3,500 calories to lose a pound of muscle or lose a pound of anything, and 3,500 calories to gain a pound of muscle. Well, okay, so if I eat 2,500 calories today, I'm 500 over. Okay. And I eat 2,500 tomorrow. Well, okay, now I'm 1,000 over. Am I gaining weight, or am I losing weight, or am I gaining muscle? Well, I'm not really exercising, so I'm probably gaining fat. But on average, though, you can basically borrow from the past or to pay for the future. And what I mean by that is, so as you're heading into the 4th is Friday. Monday and Tuesday this next week, cut back 500 calories on those 2 days. Even 200 calories. Bank them. So that by the time you get to the 4th and you eat the 2,500 calories or you eat the 3,000 calories, because hot dogs are expensive caloric endeavors, so are brats, so are hamburgers, all the food that goes along with what makes the 4th great. Yeah, you could bank some of those calories. I do not recommend. I will not be getting anywhere close to 3,500 calories. I could possibly see myself at the 2,500 calories, so I'll bank about 1,000 calories for Friday, and then if need be Saturday and Sunday make them light days to make up for it. And on average, I will lose weight, even though I had that large spike in the middle of the week. So don't beat yourself up. You don't have to be perfect. And again, this isn't torture. I don't know why we think losing weight in dieting needs to be painful. It does not. You can enjoy a 2,000 calorie, 2,500 calorie meal. You just got to plan for it and adjust. So early in the week, be good and just enjoy your 4th, because that's what I'm going to be doing. I will eat anything I want on the 4th. It'll be a free day. And again, I have no idea what my stomach's really going to tolerate right now. It doesn't tolerate a whole lot, but we'll see. We'll see. So be good in the early week. Bank those calories to be used later. Enjoy your 4th. If you went a little bit overboard with the alcohol on the 4th, then Saturday and Sunday you can make up a little bit for it. But that's how you approach something like the 4th. There is nothing worse than going to a barbecue or a party and having to watch everyone else eat. But don't do it to yourself. It's stupid. Enjoy it. With smartness, but enjoy it. Go be part of it. Live it. Live your life. But don't try to force yourself. I'm only going to eat 1,000 calories and I'll have this. If that makes you feel good, then by all means go do it. I'm not saying don't do it. I just don't need to do it. I want to enjoy the people I'm with. I don't want to have to think about it. And I just want this, again, to come naturally as easy as breathing. So that was this week's episode of Happening Fat Man. I will see you again next week after the 4th. I'll let you know how my 4th goes. I do have a couple of doctor visits, so I may or may not, I will have some weight coming to me. Not necessarily looking forward to it, because we'll see. And the reason for that is after I had my hernia surgery 6 months ago, I gained 20 pounds, like in a week. Did I gain 20 pounds? No, I did not gain. That was pure water weight and everything else that was going on in my body. It took about a month or two for that to flush out of my system and my weight to come back down. So anyway, I'm about to face that. I see my GP tomorrow and then the surgeon the following week. But if I could be surprised. I have no idea how much a gallbladder weighs. I have no idea how much gallstones weigh. So maybe I lost 10 pounds and didn't know it. I'll update you next week. Hope you guys have a fabulous 4th. And yeah, reach out on Instagram or Facebook, Hacking the Fat Man, if you have any questions. And we'll talk soon. Cheers. Bye.